again, welcome to my channel, Diaspora Journeys with Patricia. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, share, like, leave a comment as well. Let me know what you think about my discussions and my videos. And for those who have subscribed, thank you very much for holding my hand as we walk this journey together. Today I want to have a short discussion, about succeeding abroad. What does it take for you to really succeed in the international job market? What you need to understand, when you apply or you get the opportunity to work abroad, you are competing with so many nationalities of the world. That's why it's international. So you leave the comfort of your country or your continent and get on stage with other nationalities out there. So of course we've heard people who say there's so much racism, especially for those who are from Africa. You find people saying, oh, there's too much racism. Now, I know racism is something that the world is trying to beat and to overcome. However, this is not new and it's not changing tomorrow. So we will always, especially if you're coming from a continent that is not diversely populated, or the country that you are in, the businesses are not owned by one of your own. Yes, you may face racism, but that doesn't mean you sit down and feel sorry for yourself. You need to get out of that mentality and look at how you can really rise above that aspect of racism. I personally worked in the Middle East for 15 years, and I got where I got, not because my bosses were black or of African descent. In fact, I worked with so many nationalities, but there are some people will always see above your skin color. They will look beyond your gender and beyond your, if it's shape or size. So there are those people who are looking for excellence. So please, forget about every time that you sit down and just feel sorry for yourself and say, these people are racist. If there's anyone racist, it's in your mind. So please overcome that self-pity attitude and go in that job and really give it your best. Make sure that opportunity you use to stand out and be a person who can be counted as an achiever. Culture. Every country, every organization has got its culture. And when you leave your continent or your country and move to a new place, you need to understand, what is the culture of this country that I've moved in? What is the culture of the company I am working for? So please make sure you take your time and seriously get to understand it. We know that the UAE is set up in Emirates, and there's some Emirates which are not tolerant to something like drinking. I have a friend of mine, and some years back when we got in the UAE, I think it was around 2006, and he was caught drunk. He was never not driving, he was just found drunk and staggering his way home, and he had to be taken before the Sharia court and was sentenced to 40 whips. Yes, he was whipped 40 canes because of being drunk and disorderly. So get to understand the culture of where you are. I have personally paid 30,000 dirhams just to get somebody out of jail because they drove drunk. That is not tolerated. Make sure you have the correct license. Make sure you have if it's the American license, you have it. If it's the Canadian driving license or the UAE driving license, make sure you have it. Do not go with your Kenyan license or your African country license, which may not be recognized, and start driving around. So please make sure you understand the culture of a place, the culture of the organization. Who owns the organization? How do these people work? If your country, if your company is being managed by Canadians, get to understand how Canadians think. If it's by the British, get to understand how they work and how they think. If you're working in government, say the UAE government, make sure you understand how things work there. What is acceptable, what is not acceptable. So understanding that culture of a place or an organization or country will prevent you from making those mistakes that deter our progress. Those mistakes that make us, be on the wrong side of the decision makers. You will be employed and you will have an employee file. Your staff file is so important. So make sure your staff file remains very positive and with no incidences. And I know of people who lose out on promotions and good appraisals just because they have chronic absenteeism. Every month you're always sick. And the thing about organizations is that these things are picked. And when your colleagues get to realize that every time you have one thing or the other coming up, and that impacts on them, because if you're a room attendant and you miss out a day, okay, one day once in a while, that could be acceptable. But if every month you are those kind of people who, once they get their pay, they have to call in sick, you're going to make your name be circulated around the department and the organization as that person who is not playing team. Now, playing team is just not when you are with the people. Even when you are away, the people observe. Are you really contributing to the team? So make sure your staff file is clean. Integrity issues. Now, I know that sometimes in the continents we come from, there are people who take shortcuts. If it's change for a customer, make sure you give back the change. Of course, right now things have changed. Payments are done online or digitally. So it's not as during our time where cash was transacted a lot. So make sure you are so integral in what you do that you don't have issues that are reflecting in your file because of compromised integrity. Poor appraisals. Now, appraisals is a report of your performance over a period of time. Some organizations will do once a year, some will do twice a year. So make sure your appraisal score is just not average. Average doesn't hack it when it comes to promotions and recognition for outstanding stuff. So make sure your HR staff file is very clean. Yes, errors happen. But when those happen, make sure that they're not those errors that deter your promotion or that paint your file bad or in bad light. Stand out from the crowd. In every workplace, everybody works. Everybody does what they're supposed to do. If I'm a receptionist, I'll make sure that I do my checklist is done, my customers are checked in on time, and there's professionalism. There's that basic standard, which most of employees will meet. The challenge is, and I remember when I joined Fairmont, I was a concierge agent. And one gentleman, he was my direct manager that time, was an assistant manager for the front office department. And he told me, Patricia, for you to really rise up and excel, you have to stand out from the crowd. And he didn't tell me how. So when you get to your place, you need to look for how you're going to stand out from the crowd. How are you going to rise above the rest? Standing out from the crowd calls for you to have that extra eye, to see the gaps that exist maybe in your department or within the organization, and volunteer actually to come and fill those gaps. We Africans are very hardworking, and I'll refer to the Africans because I'm one and I have seen sometimes how we go wrong. We are very hardworking, excellent performers, will do your work on time, to the T, fantastic. But when it comes to going the extra mile, most of us or most Africans struggle because there's this mentality of, oh, I am doing somebody else's work. For you to stand out, sorry to say, you just have to be that person. The person who wants to go for those extra duties. The person who goes to the supervisor and asks him, do you have some work that I can get off you? This is not, in Kenya we call it kimbelembele. It's not kimbelembele. You're just looking for that edge that will help you break out from the rest and really stand out. Because if you're that person, for sure, tomorrow that supervisor will remember, or that manager will take note of you and say, oh, okay, so-and-so really takes the initiative. They really help us in the department when you start. So stand out from the crowd. It is not something that is written or you can read in a book. It's up to you. Use your intuition, use your observation to look for gaps which you can fill in. I'll give you an example because this is something I saw that we Africans shy from. You will find an organization. When I worked for the Fairmont and the Imar Hospitality, the organization used, or the company used to organize activities. You know, it could be cleanup activities, you know, where the teams go and clean up the beach, for example, or it could be cultural days where people or the employees organize cultural activities. And I saw most of my fellow Africans found that to be time wasting. You know, they just have that indifferent attitude. Those are things for the Mzungu or the Caucasians. No, these are opportunities where you get to meet who is who in the organization. So capture those moments, capture those programs that are within your organization or within the country that you are working in. Be there, be part of it, get involved, because this is how you build your networks. Because growing in organization is about networks as well. You know, if you're in the face of decision makers, they will remember you. Be remembered as that good dancer, the one who organized a good African night. You know, these are those opportunities. If you maximize, you can really go places in an organization. So above being a good worker, look for these opportunities that make you stand out and get recognized and noticed within the organization. My last point, self-development. When you start a job, of course, most of the times, being an international job, you will start from the bottom. Most of the people, unless you're in a very technical field like IT or one of those specialized fields, then you will start from bottom up. If you got in an organization with a certificate or a diploma, 10 years later or 5 years later, please don't be having the same qualifications. There are opportunities. Right now, we're in the digital era. So you can get online courses to develop you. You know where you want to go. If you want to go to a supervisory level, look for courses that elevate your knowledge in how to manage people, managing time, managing teams. All these are good opportunities for you to step up for the next level. The organizations, most especially, let me talk of the hospitality industry, for example. You'll find most companies have online classes that they pay for the whole organization for their teams to really develop. Nobody will come weeping or checking that you've done. Make sure you create time to make and cover. Make sure you do all the courses that are available for your level, because what the rank and file or entry level positions get is not what the supervisors get, is not what the managers get. But tap into these and make sure you are growing your skills, you are growing your understanding of leading people. Spend money from your pocket and educate yourself. You know, if it's a degree program that you never did because there were no resources, please pay for it, do it. 10 years, don't be the same way that you were when you entered in an organization or you started working. So self-development is also very, very, very important. Last but not least, hang around people who will grow you. Hang around people who challenge you. So when you go to this new place or this new country, make sure you build relationships that will benefit you in future. I started as a concierge, but I grew through the ranks, and fortunately my friends as well did. I have a friend who is a director in one of the hospitality companies in Dubai. I have a lady who is heading the cabin crew team in the UAE. So I have another one who is in the Dinata Emirates section of tours and travel. So there's all these people that I was able to link with, and they have helped me grow. So we challenged each other, we were there, we shared, we walked the journeys with, they saw my downs, they saw my up, but they are my best support system up to today. So Hang around people who make you better. These are my few pointers on how to really succeed in that international job market. So thank you again for watching. This has been a great time. I really love sharing my years of experience with you guys. So let me know what you think about this video. Go in, subscribe, like, share, and please leave a comment. Until the next video, have a lovely day.